Good morning and thanks for joining us for this KEYC News Now to Go update. I'm Jackson Jurek, and in a few minutes I'll be joined by First Alert meteorologist Caitlin Lohr with a look at today's forecast and beyond. We'll start with some state news. New this morning, an email sent from the gubernatorial campaign account. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said he is not running for Senate. In the email, Walz said he wanted to put any speculation to rest that he is a candidate. Walz said, quote, "I love my job as governor, and right now I am 100% focused on continuing our work together to make Minnesota the best state in the country to live, work, and raise a family," end quote. The email said in part. Last Thursday, Walz's Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, announced she was a candidate for Senate. The state became open on both sides after current Senator Tina Smith announced she would not be seeking re-election in 2026 to focus on her family. In other state news, Republicans are working to craft a budget framework that can clear both chambers of Congress. That's after the House passed a resolution last night with just one GOP dissenter. It could be setting up a battle over Medicaid. The measure, it will not be finalized as a bill. It's a framework for negotiations with the Senate that's likely to get pushback in that chamber. It proposes a $880 billion reduction in health and energy programs over a decade. President Trump says Medicare cuts are off the table, so moderate Republicans say it's hard to make the resolution's math work without affecting Medicaid. Their colleagues across the aisle are more blunt, noting most seniors in U.S. nursing homes rely on Medicaid to pay for that care. But some Republicans argue changing Medicaid isn't the same as eliminating its popular programs. Today, Greater Mankato Growth will make their annual trip to the state capitol. Together with more than 35 local businesses and organizations, the trip provides an opportunity for local leaders to meet with lawmakers and the governor about issues specific to the local area. Over 50 representatives from the area will make the trip this year, hoping to talk about everything from child care costs to housing projects.
We want to make sure that we are fostering a productive business climate that's healthy for businesses so they can grow. We also want to make sure that the tax competitiveness of our state of Minnesota is one that's welcoming for businesses throughout the state so they can, again, grow their businesses.
GMG says that alongside tackling specific issues, it's important to make sure that the local region is fairly represented by legislation and that no area goes overlooked.
We also want to make sure that the voice of Greater Mankato is heard in St. Paul. If we're not up there advocating for our region, then there may not be anybody else who's up there in St. Paul advocating, particularly for the business community.
GMG says previous years' visits have led to fruitful returns like bonding money, and the delegation is hopeful to make similar strides this year. Joining me now, and we're going to switch gears to some weather, is First Alert meteorologist Caitlin Lohr. And Caitlin, it is an absolutely gorgeous day again. It's been an up and down winter. I don't know if you want to call it a winter. We haven't had much snow, but our early second spring is here. I know we joked about this over and over again, but we usually have that first spring.
And then fool's spring.
And then we go back to winter, and then another fool's spring, and then we go back to winter, and then hopefully actual spring.
Yeah, we're kind of in that middle point. You know, it's Minnesota. We always get these warmer temperatures, and even my family at home has been asking, hey, are we done with the cold? And I said, well, it's Minnesota. It's likely we'll get another cold snap before we get to that warmer temperatures, the warmer weather that's going to stick here and stay. And at least this morning wasn't as hazardous with the ice out there. There were still some slick spots, but not nearly as widespread as we dealt with yesterday morning. But that doesn't mean just forget about what happened yesterday morning, because it could happen every morning going forward. So please don't forget what happened. Here is what we're looking at precipitation chance-wise for kind of helping you prepare for those mornings. Now remember, we're still dealing with melting and thawing of the ground, so there's still that dampness out there. But then when you add any little bit of precipitation, it can add additional dampness or sogginess out there, and that could lead to more things freezing, just like we had yesterday. Now today is just a stray sprinkle or two that we could see, especially through the morning into the afternoon hours. Friday is just a stray shower that we could see. There's a minor cold front moving through Friday, but it is on the weaker side, so we're really not looking at precipitation per se. But just as cold fronts do, they typically bring some precipitation. It's going to bring some moisture and some cloud coverage. So there's a chance for a stray shower or two on Friday or Friday night. And then we'll see dry conditions going into next week until that stronger cold front moves through on Tuesday, bringing in more precipitation and really more promising precipitation to the area. And that's going to start off as showers and then maybe transition to snow or a rain-snow mix by Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. And we'll get to that in just a minute here, but let's talk about today. I mentioned a chance for a sprinkle or two, and like I said, that's really going to be up until the early afternoon hours, because after that, those clouds are going to break apart. And then we're going to see afternoon sunshine. So really those sprinkle chances are while we have a little bit of cloud coverage over us. And then we'll start tonight mostly clear, but then we'll start to see those clouds move back in after midnight, making our way into tomorrow morning. So you're going to wake up to cloud coverage tomorrow morning, and then we'll see afternoon sunshine. So tomorrow is going to be very similar to today as far as both temperature and cloud coverage wise goes. Today, we're looking at a high this afternoon of about 51 degrees, and then we'll drop into the 30s going into tomorrow morning, and more so those low 30s by the time we wake up. Now, wind chills are going to hover in the mid 40s through this afternoon, so it will feel about 5 to 7 degrees colder out there than what the temperatures are reading, but the bigger focus is on tonight. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 30s, but wind chills, as you can see, are going to be in the low to mid 20s for most of the area, and that's because winds are expected to increase by tonight. Now, right now they are light, and they're expected to reach up to about 15 miles an hour through the day, but tonight they're going to reach up to about 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 30 as we drop to low of 33 degrees by tomorrow morning. So that little bit of a breeze moving into the area will lead to some wind chills, as you just saw from our wind chill graphic. Now, going into tomorrow, like I said, we'll see sunshine in the afternoon hours. Temperatures similar to today with a high of about 47 degrees tomorrow. A little bit of a breeze mixed in, so it will continue to feel like the 20s and 30s through tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We'll hold on to the 40s through Friday, and then we'll drop into the 30s for a more seasonal day on Saturday. Seasonal for this time of year is right around 30 degrees. And then we'll see 40s and 50s to start off next week, but that cold front that we've been talking about will move through about Tuesday as of right now, bringing in some rain that could, like I said, transition into a rain-snow mix, bringing back our winter, as we just talked about.
Well, I tell you what, this weekend is perfect weather, at least for the hockey season that ends up on Saturday, Friday, and Saturday with Minnesota State and Bemidji State to close their regular season. So it'll be perfect.
It's going to be absolutely perfect, and everything for everyone to get outside and or stay inside.
I like it a lot. Well, thank you very much, Caitlin. We appreciate it. We're going to transition into some sports now. The regular season for high school boys basketball is winding down, and the Mankato East Cougars only have 2 regular season games left. Last night, East took on the Breck Mustangs in a non-conference clash. First half action, Miles Newton 1v1 hits the bucket to put the Mustangs up by 10. Not long after, East kicks it into gear. Amari Nobles with the strong finish and draws the foul. Cougars trail by 7 after the and one. Later, some tough defense keeps Newton from getting a clean shot off. The Cougars push it up the court, and Brogan Madsen will take it from there all the way, blowing past the defense to make it a 5-point game. There you see the run, and the run doesn't end just yet for East. Anytime the Cougars get it in transition, they're scoring. Nobles with the bucket, East on a 6-0 run. Breck forced to call a timeout and a 3-point game. Out of the timeout, Breck has an answer. Another bucket, this time it's from Newton. It puts it back to a 5-point game. Time winding down in the first half. Newton tries for a corner 3. It's short, and the Mustangs defense is slow to get back. Madsen sees an opening, and he's off. Madsen ties the game at 35. Then with just 6 seconds to play, Duan Relaford gets a hand on the shot, and Gaden Gosh gets it off in time just to nail the half-court shot at the buzzer beater. East leads 38-36. Bang! Cougars go on to win a good one, 79-77 over Breck. To the west side of town, the Mankato West Scarlets are hosting the Worthington Trojans. Picking up in the second half, Kyle Steinke with the rebound. He'll take it up the court and dish it to Maximus Vilp for the layup. Scarlets up 49-34. Later, Worthington's Trayson Minder knocks down a 3 to make it a 10-point game. Scarlets still lead. West is quick to answer. Another transition bucket from the Scarlets. Ryan Hendrickson lays it in. West keeping up the defense as well. Ryan Steinke turns the turnover into 2 more points for the Scarlets. West goes on to win big, 79-63 over Worthington. To the Diamond we go, Minnesota State hosting Northern State. The Mavericks got out to an early lead, scoring 3 runs in the first inning. Jumping to the bottom of the third, Mavs with a runner at first, and Northern State throws ball 4 to Louis Moggers, and just like that, the Mavericks have 2 runners on and no outs. A couple batters later, and Matthew Fleischacker sends this through the gap for the RBI single. MSU takes a 4-0 lead. Later in the inning, a wild pitch from Lance Behrens turns into an out. The Wolves get Moggers at third for their second out of the inning. Wolves were able to get out of the third inning with minimal damage done, only giving up one. Mavs would go on to win this one 8-5. How about that, Caitlin? Baseball in February. I like it a lot.
I can't believe we're already starting baseball season.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like in the blink of an eye, it's all of a sudden the next
There it
season.
is, just like that. Well, thank you for tuning in, and thanks for watching this KEYC News Now to Go update. Stay with KEYC News Now for the latest local news, weather, and sports on our website.
And download the free KEYC News and Weather apps for the latest headlines and forecast.